2 wars, 3 sanction regimes, and a dozen summits. And none of them explain why prices actually move. The real battlefield in geopolitics isn't ideology, it isn't speeches, it isn't who said what at the UN. It's pipelines, choke points, and the invisible energy flows that decide who wins and who breaks. And if you get this wrong, you're blind to real geopolitics. And most commentary does. Welcome to Geopolitics Unplugged and the Rapid Read. If you're new here, this channel distills the core insights from our Substack at geopoliticsunplugged.com. As of January 2026, there are more than 14,000 followers who follow our structural analysis of global energy and power every day. Today, I want to explain the foundation of how we analyze the world, why most geopolitics commentary fails from the start, and why tracking oil and gas and energy flows gives you a decisive edge in understanding what's actually happening. See, let's cut through that noise. Most geopolitical analysis treats politics, energy, and markets as 3 separate worlds. Politics is about leaders and ideology, they say. Energy is just a commodity ticker. Markets are neutral, they say. Efficient judges of value. That separation is a mistake because in reality, these are not 3 separate conversations. They are one integrated system. Energy is not just fuel. Energy is leverage, physical leverage, control over supply chains, control over transport routes, control over infrastructure that cannot be rebuilt quickly and cannot be replaced cheaply. Geopolitics is not about vibes. It's not about narratives. It's not even about who sounds moral on the television, who can finger wag. It is about who controls these flows, these choke points, and the pricing power behind oil and gas. You see, markets are not moral. They don't care. They are just simply repricing machines. When controls shifts and when pipelines break and when a sanction backfires, markets simply adjust the risk premium. No drama. It's just math. This is why we don't chase headlines at Geopolitics Unplugged. We don't moralize. We don't perform. We start with basic mechanics. At Geopolitics Unplugged, every analysis begins with 4 questions, and these 4 questions strip away illusion and expose how power actually works. First, who actually controls the supply, the transport, or the pricing? Not who claims to, who has the physical grip. In oil, that means Saudi Arabia. Right now, they produce about 9.7 million barrels per day. But their sustainable capacity is 12 million. That means they hold more than 2 million barrels per day of spare leverage. They can either flood the markets or they can completely starve them. In gas, think about Europe before 2022. Russia supplied over 40% of the EU's pipeline gas. By 2024, that fell to 11%. Same continent, same demand, totally different structure. Second question, what are the real incentives? Not the speeches, not the press releases, the actual balance sheets. A country will rewrite its foreign policy totally over 100,000 barrels per day at the right price. India understood this immediately. After 2022, they ramped up discounted Russian oil imports to more than 2 million barrels per day, not because of ideology, because margins matter more than manifestos. Companies behave the same way. They don't chase values, they chase cash flow. Third question, where is capital being misallocated because of myths? This is where most damage happens. Myth number 1, sanctions always work. After 2022, European gas prices didn't collapse Russia. They exploded Europe from early 2021 levels to over 300,000 euros per megawatt hour by the summer of 2022, 10 times higher. Russia redirected gas to Asia. Revenues to Russia kept flowing. The sanctioner, meaning Europe, took the hit. Myth number 2, regime change always stabilizes supply. Look at Iraq after 2003. Output collapsed, infrastructure decayed, chaos replaced production. Myth number 3, green transitions happen without friction. Europe rushed into LNG and paid tens of billions more per year for the same energy. These myths create bubbles, overinvestment where risk is hidden, underpricing where danger is real. Eventually, those bubbles pop, and that leads to our fourth question. What breaks first, and how bad is the failure mode? Energy systems look stable until they're not. A small shock in a choke point cascades through transport, pricing, and politics. When Russia cut 80 billion cubic meters of pipeline gas in 2022, the result wasn't just higher prices. It was inflation, slower growth, political fractures inside the EU. Here's the key point, and let me pause here. If you remember nothing from this video, remember this. Geopolitics is not about intentions. It's about constraints. The world is not short on absolute energy supply. It is short on reliable supply at an acceptable political cost. Cheap Russian pipeline gas was replaced by expensive LNG. Same molecules, totally different power. Events themselves rarely break systems. What breaks systems are the incentive responses behind those events. See, risk builds in the gap between perception and mechanism. Close that gap, and you see where fortunes are made, where careers rise, and where systems fail before anyone notices. And that is our exact lens at Geopolitics Unplugged. Structural, unsensational, grounded in energy as the ultimate geopolitical currency. If this way of thinking resonates, if you want to understand power before headlines do, subscribe here on YouTube for more rapid reads and deep dives. And for the full written breakdowns, check us out on geopoliticsunplugged.com. Let's unplug the myths. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.